What's going on, everybody? I know this has been long anticipated ever since our little scuffle with PFF Sam on Monday. And to be honest with you, I could have handled it a little bit better. But today we are going to do the full Patrick Mahomes PFF charting for my own benefit. You know that Seth did it as well. And I'm going to let you know right now, in my actual charts, I did not include any runs or any handoffs from Mahomes to the running back. So none of those are actually going to be in there. So if you're looking at the chart, just know that I don't have anything in there that is not a pass or from a pass except for one play, which is the bobbled snap that he had that was going to be on a run. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and look a little bit at the chart that we have here, because I did blow it up a little for you. I hope you can see most of everything. If not, I'll just kind of go once more, shall we? That way everyone can hopefully read everything. You can see from the very first pass all the way to the last one. I have everything charted, what PFF does. Now, they use a -2 to a +2 system with halves in between. So it goes from -2 to -1.5 to -1 to -0.5 to 0, and so on and so forth to 2. And that's how you have to judge these plays. If you can imagine, this becomes very subjective with a 9-point system. So that it comes down to the watcher to determine what is viewed as, in their eyes, 0.5 being an average throw. Okay, typically zeros are neutral. So the reason I have, for example, the very first zero I have up here is the floater. Sorry, that's not the first one. First zero I have up here is a screen pass. All Mahomes is doing is checking out of the screen. Boom. Period. Neutral. He doesn't really do anything, mind blowing. He doesn't do anything. It's just what you should expect. Okay. We're going to go over in the film review a little bit of some of the plays that I picked out to just demonstrate what I talked about in terms of, a negative, a minus, a neutral play, some positives, and some really, really insane stuff that Mahomes does on a very obvious every week basis, things that just get taken for granted. So what it came down to was, this was my total, okay? Total I had was 16. So you add everything up and subtract everything. This is what I had. So I had 19 positives, meaning everything that I collectively added in data that I charted, plus got to 19, and then we had -3. So you can tell there wasn't a whole lot of negatives in terms of things that didn't go right for Mahomes, or things that I would have rather he did in other ways that went, went that way. So we got to a 16 total. I know that Seth had 14, so we're not really all that much different in our own analysis. So he's probably a little bit more of a stickler than I am. I think that there are some things that I'm probably a little bit more apt to say that I don't think any other quarterback in the NFL can do. But, this is everything that is there. If you guys want it, I can link it in the chat below, so you can kind of maybe do your own thing, or you can message me on Twitter and I can send it to you that way. So that being said, like I said, we're going to get to some film, because this was a film review. It wasn't just me charting things and saying this and doing that. We're also going to include film. We're going to talk about some of the plays, some of the negatives, and that's really what I want to get into today, because at the end of the day, we are only as good as our analysis and our ability to determine, based off what we're seeing, what a play actually is. So we're going to go through some plays. We're going to see, like, right off the start, for example, right? Let's just jump in. The very first play, we're going to establish our baseline as a check down to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, Mahomes already understands where he's going with the football, okay? So this is nothing astronomical. Obviously, the 25-yard gain was after it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire doing everything after the catch. So what I mean by it was predetermined is that when he's reading this play, we have a zone coverage. Defense is shifting from one side to the other, all right? Now we have the snap, the play action fake, and this is where Mahomes sees it, okay? So we have not a person here. Okay, so it looks like the middle of the field's a little congested, okay? So he could go through his reads, which he does. He goes through his reads, but it's really more of a way to get to. See, he kind of checked where Clyde was that first bit, and then he looked out again to scan the field. He could hit him, but, Isaiah Simmons would close pretty quickly, but everyone else is kind of covered up here. So you have a double, you have a double, you have a double, okay? And then you have one guy. So that leaves Clyde Edwards-Helaire open in the flat, where he is then allowed to make a very big gain, because he runs after the catch, makes a guy miss an arm tackle, and so on and so forth. That's why we have the baseline of neutral. This play was not anything special for Mahomes. It wasn't anything that you asked to go above and beyond what a normal, everyday quarterback does. Just dump down, and run. By the way, how about Clyde? I think he looked so much more explosive in this game than he has, and pretty much how he looked in the end of the end of the season last year when he came back from injuries in the playoffs. I think he finally looks a bit faster, and he does look much more decisive as a running back. So it was nice to see him get a couple of those plays. It was obvious after they got up like 21 to 7 that they worked all the running backs in they had and like to get everyone some rest. So in closer games, I do expect him to be a little bit more involved as the game goes along. But this is one of the negatives, okay? This is one of the negative plays that we did see from Patrick Mahomes. And there's a reason it was negative. While he throws this when Noah Gray is quote-unquote open, the problem that we're going to see here is obviously he's just running an out route, and Mahomes is going to end up spinning backwards or running backwards. So he can't play, he can't step into it, or we can't put any real juice on it. So even though he's open, that corner can easily undercut that route, okay? This is why it's a negative. That's why it's a -1 for me, because it's a poor decision, okay? It is a poor decision. If you're going to throw it there, throw it away completely. Don't lob it up, just throw it away. You're in pressure. Pressure's in your face. You got two guys in your face, so just throw it away. Obviously, you have some other players open inevitably, but the Cardinals blitzed. They're going to get you every once in a while in a situation. So they blitzed off the edge, both edges there, and then the corner comes in and almost picks that off. Noah Gray does a good job making sure he gets his hands in there. But again, the blitz, okay, right here, we just go boom. Everyone's coming, okay. We got everybody. So they wanted to get Mahomes into this situation. So he wants to get through his reads, right? He wants to see everyone coming here, and he wants to see Juju coming across, and obviously he wants to get to some of the flat a little bit here, but he doesn't have time. So he realizes quickly, and again, this is fine by Clyde. He has to step forward to protect that inside first and then go out. This is how you have to set the pass protection, because interior is always going to be the most valuable pass protection set, period. You don't know who's coming. You see two guys here, but then one comes up quickly. So you have to make your snap decisions there. So we have all of that. We have the reasoning, bad throw, bad idea in the first place to really lob it up there. So you can't get through his throw. That's why, this is a minus play. But everywhere else, they didn't do a terrible job. It's just, again, really good job by Noah Gray to get up there and make sure that ball cannot be intercepted at all. I really wish that the Chiefs would have done a better job of maybe chipping a little bit. So it's unfortunate. And actually, this is a really good pass set by Clyde. I know he comes up here and Mahomes brushes out because of it, but that's because you have a guy coming right behind him. So it's the reason it's a good pass set. Let me just kind of go back a little bit here. I want to show you what I mean by why it's a good pass set, because again, you want to establish a clean pocket. So Clyde is stepping up and reducing a split. See, look at this. He basically is trying to give Mahomes an extra body out here. So he's doing a decent job when he realizes, I got to get out here. But unfortunately, they bring another blitzer right behind in this gigantic B gap that they've created. And it's unfortunate that Mahomes has to see both of them, comes back out and then flips up. But this is the great play. Obviously, it bounces off the corner's helmet, but that's in large part due to the fact that Noah Gray is jumping over his shoulder. So poor decision. I didn't like the idea. If you're going to throw it up, just throw it out and throw it away. Don't let anyone try to intercept it. We've seen that before with Mahomes at the end, in the end zone, trying to make something happen. We don't want that, okay? It's just not something that we need to see. But obviously, we know that Patrick Mahomes isn't inclined to always make the best ideas. This was one that I believe that Seth actually charted as a neutral play because he threw it away. I disagree. I think that this play is a poor decision. One, he chose to throw the wheel route in a one-on-one situation where he never actually went through the rest of his reads, okay? He locked into that immediately. And that was a problem for me, especially because when you look at the pocket he's got here, okay? This is fine. I know he's feeling some pressure, but he himself is kind of drifting in that pocket a little bit. If he steps up, you've got things to work with here. You've got a couple of rushing lanes you can come out of, and when you really have that, that's when Mahomes gets his most dangerous, and when you can find some of these guys open. Honestly, this was going to be open, so I didn't like the fact that I saw him do that so quickly. It bothered me a little bit to see him lock into this one-on-one situation with the running back out of the backfield on a wheel route, which never really materialized. David Collins did a good job, and then he just overthrew it. So I gave it a minus 0.5 because, again, I didn't like the situation. I didn't like the idea. When this was a much more friendly pocket than he kind of probably thought. He drifted a little bit too back again. He didn't come through it. He planted. He didn't do anything that I would have liked to have seen him do. He did give his running back the best opportunity to make that play, obviously, but I would have loved to see him come up, survey the field a little bit more, and maybe hit one of these guys on a crossing route, because they had guys open on crossing routes all day, and when Mahomes was coming out of the pocket, making things happen, he hit multiple players on those crossing routes. So that's what I believe. And we all know that he's just one of the best. Like, he's just one of the best players ever. And then when he has that pocket to navigate, this is just an ungodly throw. Like, most quarterbacks don't make this throw. Now, I did not give him a +2 for anything, because really the way that the PFF measures a +2, is the Eli Manning throw to Mario Manningham on the sideline, okay? That's the throw that they measure a 2 against. So in this game, he didn't do anything like that. This is one of those plays that is really up there. So I did give it a +1.5, because I do think that there are only a very minute amount of quarterbacks in the NFL that can make this throw, even having to step up through it, getting your repercussions. He gets through that 7-step drop and allows this play to develop. Again, this is the 13 personnel we've talked about, and this is a dime. There's a reason that this word exists, okay? It's so incredible to see him drop this on a line that no one can get to except for Travis Kelce. I love watching these two connect. And when you watch this view, it really just give you more of an appreciation for what he does and what this trajectory is. Like, this is ridiculous nonsense. Like, we have in the vicinity, I won't really count 3 very much. You got 2 guys here. You have such small room for error, and anything can go wrong in your delivery and your mechanics and everything. But he did a great job stepping into this, coming up into that pocket, and just delivering an absolute beautiful pocket throw down the field. Incredible. Boom. It's so much fun to watch. I could watch these throws like this forever, just for hours and hours and hours. So many things. I did not include any of the touchdown passes, by the way. If you guys want the touchdown passes, I'm going to put all of the ones that the 2 crazy ones that he threw on Twitter. One is already up, the one to Jody, where it's not normal to do the things that he does. The fade to Travis Kelce would go up as well. But these are just the intermediate throws that he makes look so easy. Yeah, this is a 6-yard throw, but look what he has to do to accomplish this throw. They blitz off the edge. They get a free rusher. He's going back. Doesn't step into it. Chip flicks it off of his wrist, off of his other player foot, onto a spot. Boom. Out in front of Kelce. For no one can get it, only Kelce. Like, this is the kind of thing that just, it doesn't come up in the charts, guys. Like, this is the flashiness. This is the accuracy, the downfield accuracy, when you're not able to step into it, when you're not able to do everything that he did in that last play where he stepped up into the pocket, he set himself, and then he threw it to Kelce. This is a different one. This one, he's not set at all. He's just running backward. Just readjusts his body, contorts his hips, gets them out of the way, and then chucks it to the side. It's so much fun. So much fun to watch. So yes, there are things that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have that are unable to be replicated by anybody else in this field. So there's reasons why Mahomes was getting +1.5s, +1s, +1.5s with these connections to Travis Kelce, because they're unreal. And then there's just this, I don't even know how to do witch doctor throw. This is one of those things where it's so difficult to understand how he's able to move his body like that. But the Chiefs were incredibly successful in empty formations. This was one of the things that they did well. They really paired their 13 personnel, their heavy personnel, with empty. They did a great job of mixing them up and hitting the Cardinals all over the field with multiple, short, intermediate, and deep throws. But again, you're drawing coverage over the middle of the field, some attention here from multiple people. You have some out here. Underneath route from MVS, and then obviously Travis Kelce's running a nice little out route here too. But Mahomes is looking for it. Okay, so he's reading the left side of the field first. He's like, I don't like it. I want it. He probably could have hit Travis Kelce right here because he's open. Okay, he is open. But instead, Mahomes gets up, he gets out, he hits McCole Hardman. He hits Sky Moore on that deep over route down the field, and then he does a little bit of voodoo himself to get out of the way. But again, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. When you're able to drag your hips out of the way and come around with this different arm angle, this is the kind of stuff that even as a 1.5 plus, it's not within a rubric you can really identify that this is a special type of play. There are things that he does that he only does, that he gets away with it. No other quarterback can really do. There's only maybe Josh Allen and Justin Herbert have, maybe even Aaron Rodgers to an extent, can have the flick of the wrist ability, but I don't see any of them do the sidearm moving to the left when you have to take your hips, pull them out of the way, and then contort them underneath you like Patrick Mahomes just did. They don't really do that. So he is the one of one. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. And while to an extent I understand where PFF's coming from, okay? I understand. Like I said, this is more trying to learn throughout this process. So that's what we're doing. We went through, we looked at everything, and I understand to a point where the turnover where the plays come in, where the minus plays come in, things like that. My issue is that it's so subjective, okay? Seth and I talked about it a little bit too. We really came to the determination that this process that they are so built on is flawed in the sense that even you can be trained to do so many different things with your eyes. They can lie to you all the time. And if you don't have the same person watching the games over and over again, even if they're being sent to somebody for review, you're going to have inconsistencies. And even with a game that Patrick Mahomes just put up, I don't personally believe that it's possible for him to have been graded as the 9th. Now it's the 9th because Geno Smith was better than Patrick Mahomes according to their grades. There's no world where that's true. I understand that the scheme helps him out a lot, but there's also a reason that defenses change. The Cardinals tried everything in their power to stop Patrick Mahomes. They blitzed him. They dropped 8. They tried to rush 4 and drop 7. They tried everything that they could. Scheme helps you only so much, okay? But there's a reason that Mahomes commands the defensive attention. And there's a big reason why last year defenses stopped what they were doing normally, their own scheme, and said, we are just going to stop doing what we do and we're going to play too high. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make everything hit underneath. So we had to learn differently. Things are all different now. Mahomes is just that good that defenses had to find a different way around him, okay? So this is where we're at. The system is a bit flawed because there's so much subjectivity to what a 0.5, what a 1, what a 0 actually is on their whole spectrum. So I think Seth did a good job. I'm hoping you guys think I did a good job in surveying this with my own biases aside, being as honest to the film as I could be about what Patrick Mahomes did. Obviously, I don't have any way of knowing how good a 16 turns into their grade on their scale. I'm hoping I get a little bit of interaction with Sam Monson on this because I'm going to send him my results as well. I'm hoping that comes to fruition so we can see what that actually entails, because outside of that, there's no way of really knowing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think I did a good job trying to show you guys where I'm at with some of these things, and also where good film analysts like myself and Seth can disagree to some extent. So I enjoyed doing this. It might not be the way that I always do it, but it definitely has helped me to grow as a analyst in terms of narrowing down things that actually matter. And when you look at it subjectively, yeah, a negative is that he dropped a low snap. It was a bad snap. He should have caught it. He dropped it. He shouldn't have made that throw, in my opinion, to Jerick McKinnon on the sideline. He had other options to go through. So yeah, it was not a good exercise, I think. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like, hit that bell, hit the sub for the channel. We're really trying to grow this year. You guys have been so great in supporting us. I'm so happy to be here and with you guys, the best fans in Chiefs kingdom in the entire NFL. So I love it so much. Make sure you guys are here every week. Tomorrow's the game. I'm really excited to tune into the game show after. It's going to be after the game. Ryan and I always do this. It's a lot of fun. You guys always make it really, really fun with your questions and your support. So tune into that. Make sure you're continuing to follow the channel with everything we have going on. So much content to consume, so little time. All right, you guys, have a great night, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.